All right, we are live back again for another video, and this one's gonna be a little differently than our past videos because this is gonna be the video where you finally get to know us a little bit on a more personal basis, and we're gonna be asking each other questions and allow you guys to get to know us, our personalities, because we're not just wrestling fans. You know, we don't just live wrestling 24/7. Well, besides Corey, he watches wrestling all day, every day, isn't that right, man?
I hear you, man.
Well, since the network, I've been watching a lot more wrestling than I normally do, but that's not all we're about here in the DC show. We have a lot of other interests and shit, so, you know, we're going to ask each other questions and get it out of the way and get it off our chest, should we say. You want to start first, man, and ask me a question?
You go
Should I
first.
ask you? All right, I'll ask you first, man. So I've known you for a couple of years, so what got you into the whole, like, vampire horror movie genre? Because I know that's like one of your favorite things. You like watching horror movies, vampire shows. What got you interested in that?
All right, I guess I would say with, if you look at the past video of the Supernatural, you knew that, my mom was sort of into that, like, darkish type thing to begin with. Well, with the childhood that I was, going through, horror was my escape, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started getting into it, that was, believe it or not, I've watched very few cartoons. It was pretty much like I watched He-Man, Transformers, and Thundercats. Other than that, as 4-year-old kid, I was watching like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Blob, so on and so on. So that's what pretty much got me all into all that type of stuff. So it was pretty much a childhood thing.
Same here. Like, I mean, I used to watch all kinds of cartoons when I was younger. One of my favorites was Ninja Turtles. You remember that? Power Rangers.
Yeah.
You remember Power Rangers, man?
Yeah.
Goosebumps. When I was into all the popular '90s shit, I was into. I had Nickelodeon on pretty much all day. But I remember one night, my friend had rented A Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember watching it at 1 o'clock in the morning in my room, and I was supposed to be asleep. And that shit scared the hell out of me. I couldn't sleep for 3 days, and ever since then I was hooked. And I started reading, like, vampire books and stuff like that. I think I was reading the Interview with the Vampire. Who's the author of that? Anne Rice?
Anne Rice.
Yeah, I was reading one of her books, and I was like, I remember watching Interview with the Vampire for the first time, and I was like, oh, I was hooked ever since then, man. I remember that following Halloween, I wanted to be a vampire, so it really started at a very young age for me, man. And pretty much all the movies I watch nowadays are either horror or comedy. So,
yeah.
It's just awesome, like just the unknown. Because let's face it, real life is so boring. So this is why I would love to be like vampires, live forever, get to know the whole world.
I guess another reason, and to finish, to get in depth with my answer was, at a young age, for some reason, I don't know, I guess this is terrible to say on live TV or whatever, but I got into like the serial killers, man. For some reason,
I have too, man.
I don't know what about, and see, Ed Gein, which was a well-known serial killer at the time, that's who Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off of.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's where that.
I know it's based off of like I don't know. I don't know the full story, so I'm not trying to pretend like I know. But I didn't know that. You see, when I was a kid, my mom used to always watch Cops and America's Most Wanted. He used to come on back to back. I think it was Saturday nights. And that show would freak me out. I don't know who the guy is did the voice for America's Most Wanted, but he has such a creepy voice. I swear to God. You remember America's Most Wanted? You ever watched that?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Well, see, I think that's the guy that the host. His daughter or son died from a murder.
His son died, and he wanted to get more awareness about those kind of crimes out there. Yeah. I don't know the full story, but all I know is that his voice was. Along with that, used to freak me out, man. And yeah, I remember watching a lot of crime shows. I get really hooked on like Forensic Files and shit. Yeah. It's kind of weird how I'm into that kind of shit, man. I don't know if it's kind of bad thing to say about me, but that's all I really watch on TV, really, besides like wrestling and movies. It's like crime shows. You ever watch like Forensic Files and shit?
Sometimes, like I guess you're talking about like the cold case type things.
Yeah, cold case files.
Yeah, I watch that every now and then. I'm not much of a TV guy no more, really.
Yeah. So speaking of which, you've how old are you again, by the way? I always forget.
35.
35. So growing up, well, even though you're not a big TV guy, what was the best decade to you? The 80s or the 90s, as far as TV wise, people-wise, culture-wise? What was a better time period, 80s or 90s?
I would pull for the 80s, man.
Why is that, man?
I would pull for it because, all right, you know, for one, I believe the golden era was pretty much the best era in wrestling. With movies, man, it was all types of movies in the 80s were good, whether they were comedy, romance, horror movies, you know, so on. Even the TV shows were better then than now. So everything about it, man, you know, was awesome. You couldn't say like nowadays you can say strictly you pretty much listen to one kind of music. You know, yeah, you might go aside and say, oh, you listen to something else. But during the 80s, you could say you listen to everything. I mean, you had like the you know the hair bands with like Poison, you know, Motley Crue, all those type of people. You know, Metallica. I believe Metallica was the 80s too. But then you also had like you know good you know pop stars and stuff like that, or you know just straight what I called you know the first ever emo, which was the Cure. You know, so all that stuff you know was good.
See, I can't really answer that because I wasn't really I was born in '87, so I was not able to really enjoy as it was happening. But as I got older, there's a lot of '80s movies I like, man. Something about those movies back then. They
Yeah.
had a special feel to them, man. So I've asked you about 3 questions so far. Why don't you go ahead and ask me, man? Ask me a couple of questions, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna start off with outside of wrestling, since this is we're gonna try our best not to go back to that kind of
We're
topic
gonna,
again.
we can't make any promises, but we're gonna
All
try.
right, yeah. Out outside of that, what are your like hobbies? What are you into? You know, so on.
I'm like such a diverse person, man. Like I love all kinds of things. I will say I'm a big movie buff. Like there's a lot of times where I just want to lay around and watch movies all day. So I'm a big film fan. As you know, I go to the movies. Like every time you text me, where are you at? I'm at the movie theater. It's one of my friends. I love going to the movies. Something about sitting in a movie theater and watching a movie is fun. I'm into video games. Not really a hardcore gamer, but I enjoy like I enjoy getting lost in fantasy worlds. So I like reading books. I'm not really big as reading books as I was when I was younger, but still occasionally I like to read a good book here and there. But mainly, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I like to do the simple things like going for walks, just being outdoors in the summertime because I hate wintertime. I hate the snow. But mainly, I guess to sum it up, I like anything that gets me out of this world for a while.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Was that pretty good?
that was a good one.
Hopefully. Try to. You got another question, man?
All right, let me think.
Think of a good
Out
one.
of sports, outside of wrestling, once again, what type of sports are you into, if any?
Really, honestly, not that much. Like I will watch for some dumb reason. I'll always watch the Super Bowl every year, but I'm not really a big football fan. But one thing that's so weird about me is I like going to high school football games. I don't know why. So I guess you could say besides wrestling, I have a somewhat interest for football. As far as other sports like baseball, soccer, no, I just never really got into them. At one time when I was a kid, I was a big basketball fan, NBA, but mostly for Michael Jordan. I wasn't really like hardcore into it. So I guess if I had to pick, it'd be football besides wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Not really. I know it's kind of crazy. I'm like anti-American. Most Americans love sports, but I don't.
I mean, I don't really care too much for it, really, either. I mean, I like my NASCAR. You know, I like Earnhardt Jr. Before that, I liked Earnhart Sr.
Oh, there's a NASCAR, huh,
I
man? You like the racing?
I used to be into the football. That was another thing about, the 80s. I think football was better. Now I think you could be a terrible player, but as long as you got your name on a pair of shoes or something, you're somebody. You know
It's
what I'm
all about the
saying?
merchandise, man. Like T-shirts, like Michael, like seeing Michael Jordan. It's all
Yeah,
about that nowadays, man. It's not about being a good player or anything.
yeah. And I guess to answer, the question I asked you about hobbies, my type of hobbies, I like to fish. I used to like to hunt. I want to get back into it. I ain't done that in, years now. Um, I like to go to the beach for some reason. That takes me
Oh,
out of
that's one
this
thing I
world.
forgot. I missed that, man.
Yeah, man.
I used to live in
Other than that,
California, Orange County, right by all the beaches, man. There's nothing better than going to the beach.
yeah, man. Other than that, I would say just going to like Bass Pro Shops, man, and stuff like
Um,
that, and just pretty
I
much,
know
I'm
you're
pretty
into
much.
that, man. When we hang out, we have to go fishing. I never been fishing ever been
Oh
fishing.
God, man. Yeah, man.
That's probably why I'm liking Duck Dynasty, man. By the way, I watched more of the episodes lately. I don't know if I told you.
What do you think?
I like their lifestyle, man. That's the kind of thing I would like to have. Live middle of nowhere, no one bugging you. You know, you gotta
There
love
it
that.
is.
Of course, they had the money for it, of course, but
Yeah, I mean, the father, he actually has 900 acres of land, man. That's a
yeah,
lot.
man, how did they
That's,
get that land? Like, did they own all of that? Like,
no, I mean, it started off slowly, man. You know, he started off, the father started making, duck calls in his shed, man. And then it just became, tremendously successful. And the reason it became successful is because their duck calls are pretty much the only duck calls that actually sounds like a duck. All these other duck calls really don't sound to the T like,
yeah,
certain ducks. I mean, that's what made them, man.
yeah, I'm loving that show. I'm almost on season 2, by the way, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
man.
it. Yeah. Speaking of that, man, let's go ahead and talk about it. As of right now, this moment, what are some of the TV shows you're into right now?
All right, probably first and foremost, it probably would be Duck Dynasty.
I know you're a big fan of that. We know
Yeah,
that.
I like Swamp People. I like obviously wrestling. I like watching, the CMT, the country music TV. I like watching. That's pretty much what's on right now that I'm watching. Um, what else? Call of the Wild Man. Pretty much a lot of the outdoor stuff. That's the only thing that gets my interest. I'm not much on these so-called reality shows. I want to at least believe it. Other than that, I would probably say Vampire Diaries, True Blood, which has ended, and Walking Dead. That's pretty much where it stops.
Yeah, too bad True Blood's over, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm sad about that. Still dealing with it. I watched it last night. All right, well, go ahead. You asked me a question now. I've asked you, I think, 2 of them already.
You asked me one, man.
Oh, I keep one. I'm moving tracks here.
All right.
I'm botching already. This is why we're live.
All right, I'm gonna start off. All right, well, let's get into music now since we went to, TV shows.
All right.
What was the first? See, I don't know your pretty much era. Was it a cassette
I'm a
CD?
late 90s guy, pretty much. The late 95 and on was
So
my
what was that? A cassette or was that a CD?
a cassette. I started with cassette.
Cassette.
I
All
remember.
right. What was your first ever cassette tape?
You ever heard of the Source Hip Hop Music
Yeah.
Awards or whatever like that? I remember my sister got me a cassette for Christmas. It was actually my first ever music thing I ever owned at all. I remember it had Eminem, My Name Is on it. Remember that song?
Yeah.
So I was hooked ever since then, man. I was like, I love this guy, and I was hardcore into rap since then. So I remember I used to record off the radio onto cassette tapes because I couldn't afford CDs at the time when they first came out. You remember that, man, where you had to record off the radio? I don't know if you ever did that or not. I
Yeah.
would record songs I liked off the radio. Edited and all, I hated that. They were all edited, and they have the stupid commercials on there. And I
See,
would
what I used to do is if I had a cassette tape, like a store-bought one that I really didn't even like, what I would do is put tape in, them like 2 little holes at the top of the
yeah.
cassette, put it up in there and record off the radio, man.
Oh, man.
That's what I did,
A
man.
bunch of cassette tapes. I remember I bought a bunch of them at the dollar store. I had a whole pack of like recorded off the radio tapes. That was my music I listened to before I got my first CD. My first ever CD was Linkin Park, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna answer the same question here. Uh, it was probably when I was in Chase City. One of my aunts, she was like in love with like Tina Turner, man.
Oh, I remember my mom used to love her, man.
Well, I used to go in her, like, I guess you call it good living room, whatever you would call it, the
Yeah.
room that you never go into really.
Yeah.
Well, I went in there and she had 8-track tape players, which you probably don't know what that is.
Well,
But
what is that? I heard about that. What is that? I felt dumb now.
it was like this wide, dude, and you would put it up in there and it would pretty much hang out of the whatever you would call it, 8-track
It's
tape
kind of
player.
like a cassette, the way, kind of like a cassette, a little bit, but a little different.
But it was like bigger.
Oh, bigger. Oh, so like a
Yeah,
VCR key. Like a VCR key.
right, right. But like lengthwise smaller than that. But it
Oh,
was the same widthwise, if not bigger, I think. But it was actually Elvis Presley, man.
well, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll.
And that was my first ever CD, well, 8-track that I ever owned, dude. And then after that, I guess I got albums. I know that I had like a couple Elvis. I was a diehard Elvis fan. I had Beastie Boys' "License to Ill," which might even have been their first album. I'm not even sure about that. But then I started, broaden my horizons. Probably my first my first cassette one was probably New Kids on the Block, man.
Step by step.
Dude, I love the New Kids on the Block, dude.
Hey, don't feel bad, man, because I did too. I'm thinking out there right now.
But see, I guess the thing with it now compared to, back in the day with, that pop music is you were hated way more back in the day to be a man to like New Kids on the Block or Milli Vanilli or people like that. You would actually get hate from it. And honestly, dude, I used to go to school with the fucking New Kids on the Block t-shirts, man.
You
And
get picked on, man.
I'd get pretty much picked on, give or take. I had to fight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And majority of the time won the fights, but it was still, you're fighting because of the shirt you're wearing. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of a stupid thing.
It reminds me, remember like the '90s phenomenon of all the boy bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. It's kind of like the same thing. Like if you even dare to wear like an NSYNC shirt in the late '90s, we consider like unmanly.
But see, when you look at it now, I mean, it ain't no thing for somebody to pull up, no matter, even the gangsters are pulling up listening to Justin Timberlake now. They wouldn't have dared do that in the '80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like
So
back
I
in the day,
mean,
like
I guess that's the difference is people finally growed up out of that whole thing. You know what I mean?
thank God too, because that's kind of stupid to bully people over musical interests. To
Yeah,
me, I'm
man.
more diverse in my music. Like I could listen to a rap record. If you just even saw my MP3 player, it's full of all different genres. I could pop in a rap record one day and immediately pop in a rock record and a pop record later on. So it's like, like why just lower yourself to just one genre? I never understood that. So,
Yeah, man.
speaking of music, man, what got you into like? Because I know you said you used to like listen to a lot of old school rap. What got you first in the rap genre? Should I say?
Well, actually, the funny thing is, rap has only, been around for 35 years, dude. It's like the newest, pretty much the newest music out there, man.
I
Is
know
rap.
I
It's not like,
that's true.
yeah. Rap is as old as me, dude.
You're the godfather of rap. Fuck
Yeah,
Dr. Dre,
man. Well, the truth beyond that is if you do your history, the first rapper in history really wasn't a rapper. They actually just did a rap song. It was a white girl named Blondie.
I didn't know
She
that.
did the first ever rap song. But all right, I guess to answer your question, is my brother was like big into like NWA, man. And I
Well,
know I shouldn't be saying this, but hell, this is uncut. This is raw. I'm gonna say it.
yeah, say it
Well, he
wrong.
was listening to the CD. I was what, maybe 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, Corey, what are you listening to?" And I said, "Niggas with an attitude." Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't know what the word was. I was just, and I was just like, oh my God, like I knew some of the words they were saying were something that I couldn't say, but it was like, I remember like rewinding the tape, listening to that song. She swallowed it, and I'm in the room saying she swallowed it at 5 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I bet they didn't like that at all.
Nah, but I was big into them. I liked Vanilla Ice. I got to meet him at Peaches in Colonial Heights, I believe. I liked MC Hammer, whatever you want to call him. I liked De La Soul, Public Enemy. Um, damn, who else? Cool Mo D, stuff like that.
You forgot the good old Dr. Dre.
Well, I mean, he wasn't really around at that time. Yeah, he was because he was NWA, but
Yeah.
I really never cared too much for him. I liked NWA because of Eazy-E, because he was the only believable guy. All them other ones are fake as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I went astray from that for a while. I started, my uncle was a bluegrass singer, so I grew up listening to, bluegrass music. And like I said, I already done said New Kids on the Block. But what else did I listen to? Like I said, I listened to a lot of the hair bands. Like I loved Bon Jovi at the time and stuff like that. I was never into Metallica, believe it or not. My brother, that's one of his favorite bands, but
Well,
I
that's a
never
shock.
cared too much for them, dude.
I thought everyone loved Metallica. Shock.
Nah. But I mean, in country music,
Yeah, I like one of their albums. It was about the
in
Black
country
album.
music, I guess I was listening to Hank Williams Sr. I listened to Garth Brooks, Clint Black, Barbara Mandrell, uh, Conway Twitty. Alabama was actually my first ever concert that I ever went to. After that, my second concert was New Kids on the Block. It seems to keep going back to them, but I mean, hell, you got to be honest, right?
Yeah, you can't lie, man. And nothing to be ashamed of. Like I like some of their songs. I never bought any of their albums or anything like that. I guess to answer the same question as you as far as the rap thing. I was born in a different period, so Eminem was my first person I got into. Remember, like I said, that my first ever cassette was the Source Hip Hop Music Awards, and which had his song "My Name Is" on it. And you remember, man, how controversial he was in the late '90s.
Yeah,
Eminem.
man.
I used to love that, man. Playing that real Slim Shady in my room, like not even understanding what the hell he was talking about. It was just awesome. Something about it. I don't know. Eventually, I got into other rappers like Tupac and Busta Rhymes and stuff like that. But yeah, then eventually I got into rock. My first ever CD I ever bought was Linkin Park. Then I got a Papa Roach. You ever heard of Papa Roach?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like mainly rap and rock for a long, long time was my main music I listened to. I think my first ever concert was what was my first ever concert? Yeah, I think it was Linkin Park actually. They went to Santa Ana and I checked them out. So and it was Blink 182, the next one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man. I never been to a rap concert though, or a country one either.
I've been to quite a few of country.
Yeah, and I know you've been a lot just in the past couple of years. You've been to a few.
Yeah,
I like to go
man.
to one though. That'd be cool. So
All right, next.
come on, your turn, man. I guess you can ask me a question.
Huh?
I guess you can ask me a question next, man. Go for it.
All right. What are you most passionate about?
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer. There's so many ways I could say this. I'm passionate about life, and I think that I think about things in a more deeper level than most people. I'm not trying to say I'm like better than anybody else, but I'm very passionate about enjoying my time here on this earth, whatever that is. Obviously, as you all know, if you've watched it for a couple of years, I'm very, very passionate about wrestling. Been watching this since I was a kid. Pretty much the only thing I've stayed true to over the years. I've had a lot of interests that I actually grew out of over the years, but I've always stayed true to wrestling. Something about it, man. Just I love it. Uh, Definitely passionate about movies. I would love to become a movie director one day. I'm hoping for that. So just life, pretty much, man. Whatever gets my creative juices going, man. I love, man. So I guess like I say, life sums it up. I guess. What about you, man? Same question for you. What are you passionate about?
I would say family, faith, and beard.
Well, I feel bad because I didn't say family. Maybe a terrible person if I didn't say that.
But music of all kinds, man. I'm not, people misunderstand me when I say I'm country. They think that I gotta just listen to country music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like the music, and to be honest, and I believe it was 99, 2000. I really did not listen to country music no more, except for the old country, man, because at that time country was starting to go a little bit more pop. Now I'm actually open to it for like people like Luke Bryan. If you listen to it, obviously it gives you that country feel, but at the same time you can tell it's got a little hip hop influence and pop influence. At one time, I really didn't care too much for it, dude. I'd be like, I can't feel it. I can't feel it. And I'd say probably in 1999. That was about when I moved to Florida. I started really getting into Papa Roach and Linkin Park, Kid Rock, Uncle Cracker, Stain, Static X, Rob Zombie, you name them, Marilyn Manson. But I was already a fan of Marilyn Manson before that time, so I started really getting into the rock scene. And when I started losing interest in, I guess, rap was honestly when Tupac died, dude. Honestly, I feel like there's nobody out there. There's very few out there that I can feel right now. Eminem, I can feel. Nas, I think he's underrated, dude. I still enjoy and listen to Nas. LL Cool J, But other than that, I don't like the crap now, dude. I think it's garbage. But I mean, each I guess, what do you call that? Is that decade?
Yeah, decade. Yeah.
Each decade something shines, dude. And right now, country music is shining. At one time, what was it? I guess the early '90s, maybe mid '90s. Pretty much pop took over. You had, like you said, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Mandy Moore, etc., etc.
It was all over the place, man. It was everywhere.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, each time something shines. I mean, rap lost its feel when it's. It used to be known as hip hop, man, and I feel that they've took the hip hop away from it.
Well, definitely nowadays, man. I could think of maybe two artists right now. Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know if you kind of new to him, but he's pretty good, man. And you ever heard of Hopsin?
What?
Hopsin, the rapper Hopsin. You never heard of him? Oh, well, he's another good one. These guys are both kind of underground, to say the least. But as far as mainstream rap goes, really right now, it's mainly Eminem still for me. I mean, everything else is just bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess I do a little bit like Wheezy Baby, Please Say the Baby. I mean, you can't deny that man can rap his ass off, man. But I mean, I don't know if
Well, let me ask you this. What's your opinion on Machine Gun Kelly? What you heard of him so far? You like his music, or you're not really big?
Somewhat, dude. But I mean, I don't know, man. I would probably never buy his album or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, to each his own. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what was the last music album you actually bought from a store?
Music album?
Yeah.
Chase Rice is a new country singer. Actually, I think you'd enjoy him, dude. Cause he's got that he's got a hip hop feel to him.
Yeah, and one thing I know about country is I used to always think that they're just party music, but they have some deeper stuff in their music, man. I have a Pandora account. I've been listening to a lot of country lately, and I actually wouldn't mind getting a couple of their CDs and listening to more of it.
I guess the difference in, back in the day to now, I feel like country, it made you feel, it wasn't good to be drinking while you listen to country music because it was very depressing, but that's life, dude.
Your life is depressing.
So, I mean,
whether you want to admit it or not.
You could feel it more. I guess that's why I like, Kid Rock. I would say my personality's more of a Kid Rock guy because, I grew up in all different lifestyles, man. I mean, I've lived, beach, I've lived ghetto, I've lived country, I've lived all that. So I can relate to, Kid Rock, you know what I'm saying? He does it all. So, he's got all my things that I grew up listening to in one. So I would say, I wouldn't say he's my favorite artist. That's going too far, but he would be the best way to describe me, I guess.
And he gets a lot of hate for changing his style from being a rap rocker at the beginning and then going country. So I don't get that. But oh well. He stayed true to who he was, though. That's one.
Yeah. I mean, people say that, dude. But I mean, if you listen to one of my favorite songs by him, especially at that time, because I was going through a bad time with, my ex-wife and shit. But the song Only God Knows Why, where he's talking about his kid and everything. And at that time, I sort of got on the drug binge. And, he's like, I take too many pills. It helps to ease the pain. That song, if you really listen to that, man, that's got a country feel to it then. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's always been that guy. It's not like you listen to a CD and you're like, this is a rock guy. He he's always been diverse, I guess is the right way to say it.
Yeah, even back on his first album, was it Devil Without a Cause? Was that his first one?
Well, that was his first well-known one. He had one before that. I forgot what it was called, but I mean that was pretty much strictly like a rap album.
But he always had like a diverse, like kind of. It wasn't all rock the whole album. It never was. He had hints of country in there somewhere. I can't really remember because it's been a long time since I listened to the album. But
yeah, I mean, for people to say that, oh, he added rap to his music. I mean, you really listen to. Let's go as early as Red Hot Chili Peppers, dude. I mean, does that not sound a little bit influenced to hip hop music?
Yeah, they have hip hop.
But gotta give it to your mama. I mean, that's not rock music, dude. I mean, let's face the facts, dude.
Yeah, man, tell it like it is, man.
Yeah, man. That was another band. That just made me think of Aerosmith and Run DMC. Run DMC, I grew up on, man. I like Run DMC.
The only song I remember was that song they did for The Rock for that Rock WWE album. Is that kind of sad, huh? I don't know much about them. That's the only song I know of them by. Is that song they did for The Rock. That's pretty bad, huh, man?
Oh, God, dude.
I got to go back and listen to some of their old records. Yeah, see, there's a lot of rappers that are rap groups I haven't ever got a chance to listen to yet. Just kind of sad, but hopefully one day I will.
I mean, you need to go back and listen to the old shit. I mean, it's a different era, so you might not like it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's what I liked, what I felt like hip hop really was, man. And like I said, LL Cool J is still that guy, man. He's that guy that says, "Look, I'm gonna do my music this way. I may have grew up in the ghetto, but I'm not gonna portray myself that way. But if you go at me, guess what? I'm gonna destroy you in a freestyle. I'm gonna LL Cool J will destroy pretty much anybody."
People call him a soft ass. They call him a soft ass because he doesn't do those crazy rap.
They need to leave that man alone. That guy's multi-talented, dude. Like, people just need to leave LL Cool J alone, dude.
And he's still doing this thing, man.
I like him, dude. I'm sorry. He's bad as shit, man.
I never bought him his albums, but yeah, he's pretty badass. But
you need to go back from like that song, "I'm Bad." Dude, he kills it, man.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Oh, man. All right, your turn, brother.
So I've known you for a long time, man. Like, what, about 5 years now? I think a little
Dude, it's past that.
It's been feels like a lifetime already.
It was actually, I talked to you when I finally actually had a MySpace page or some shit.
Speaking of did you ever miss MySpace, man? I actually miss that damn thing. I don't know why.
I miss it because it showed more of your personality instead of you having to add shit up all on your wall and shit. You could get
like this photo or whatever.
Yeah, all that crap, dude. I liked it better. I don't like the direction MySpace took, but it's much better than Facebook, I think.
So like looking at your life now, man. Let's go a little deeper here. Are you happy how your life has turned out, man? Like, everything you've been through to this point?
I'd say yeah, but if you don't continuously want to grow, dude, then if you're at your full potential in life, then you're sort of a waste of space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to continuously grow. Am I happier now than I was? Obviously, but can I still grow? You can grow till you pass, dude.
You can grow. I mean, I don't think we're ever fully grown, man. To answer the same question as you, I don't think that I'll ever be satisfied. I mean, if you're ever satisfied, you can be content with where you're at, but I'm far from even content right now. There's so much I want to accomplish, but I'm just so damn lazy, I guess. No, but eventually, what my ultimate dream is, man? It's just like Duck Dynasty. I want to own, like, a whole acres of land to myself in the middle of nowhere and just live a simple life. Then I guess I could be satisfied where I'm at.
See, that's like my thing. I either want to be as far out in the country as I possibly can, or be my backyard being the beach, because either or way I'd be happy, whether I'm in the woods or whether I'm near water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By far, city, I've lived it. I don't really care too much for it, man. It's too hectic for me. I'm not really that much of a people person, really, for me to. I sort of get like, what do they say, like when you're locked up in a room, like claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic in the city. Like the only time I'm actually comfortable with being around like a crap load of people, dude, is if I'm drunk, which I ain't really been drinking like talking about it, or if I'm at a concert or like a wrestling event. Other than that, I can't go like in the malls, dude. I hate when just people just like brush up against me. I ain't been to the mall in probably a good year or two right now, man. I just don't like it, man. I don't like it. It's too much for me, man. I can't handle it.
Because you're more like a simple person. Like you like the simple things, just like going out in the woods is good enough for you. Like you don't want to be surrounded like a bunch of people everywhere. And I kind of agree with that. I like going to the malls because I like how do I describe it? I like seeing all kinds of stuff they have in there, even though I could like ridiculously overpriced. I would never buy anything in the mall if I was rich. Like goddamn, and the price is in there, man. But it's cool to see like when you go to Hot Topic, for instance, one of my favorite stores. You can meet people that have the same interests as you in music and stuff like that. That stuff is cool, but yeah, I'm not really, like I said, if I had my way, enough money, I want to live like out in the middle of nowhere. What is it about that, man? Like just living in the middle of nowhere, it's more, what's the word for it? Soothing.
Well, it's peaceful for one, and in the country, dude, you're breathing fresh air because in the city you're breathing pollution. That's the truth, dude. That's the truth. I never believed it, dude. When I got older and moved back to the country, I could breathe, dude. It was a different kind of breath. Like I can tell it now that I've got older. When you're a kid, you're not thinking, hey, I'm breathing different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I went back, when I got older and went back to the country, dude, I was like, it's a different kind of smell. You can actually breathe. It's different, dude. It's totally all around different. Like you're not breathing good shit in the city, man.
Yeah.
But I will state, since you talked about Hot Topic, that used to be my favorite. That used to be one of my favorite stores I used to go to, dude. I like the smell of fucking Hot Topic, dude.
I love that store. Something about that store, man, it's just so inviting, man. The smell of the store, the merchandise in the store.
I mean, don't it smell good, dude?
It smells like, what about it? They put incense in there, like, they put some kind of special smell that just draws you, like, come into this store right now. And I can stay in there for like an hour just browsing. If I have no money in my pocket at all. There's something about that store, man. Yeah, it's always like, out here, like, it's always like in a very small area of the mall. But still, I don't care. I don't mind being in there.
Yeah, I love that store, dude. I still actually go in that store, dude.
You ever shop there at all? Buy anything there? I mean, they're kind of.
Oh, good God! You knew me on MySpace when I was.
Oh yeah.
All gothic out or emoed out, whatever people want to call it.
That's where all the supplies are at, man. Right there in Hot Topic, you can get all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that used to be my store, dude. Well, like I said, I still enjoy going in there, man.
So, like, do you like window shopping? Like even if like walking around Walmart and looking out all kinds of shit that are out nowadays, man. Like walking on the electronics section. Do you like?
I guess that's my thing. I always realize this, dude. When I have no money and I go in the store, whether it's Walmart, Target, the mall, Bass Pro of all places, when you go up in there and you're like, man, I want this, I want this, I want that. But then when you actually get paid and you go in a store, you can't find what even the same thing that you would have wanted when you went in there with no money, you end up walking out with nothing. Or something stupid because you're like, oh, I only got $20 in my pocket. Let me get this, and I end up walking out with a CD. Or maybe another camera.
I'm the only one. Like, I'll walk around the mall, like, I'm going to come back when I get paid and get this item right here. I come back and either I'm like, I don't need it, or I get something else. Every damn time. When I want something, I never have the money for it at the time. When I do have the money for it, I just say, oh, I'll just buy it on Amazon for half the price. And I never end up getting it, ever. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, man.
Are you more of a Walmart guy or a Target guy?
Oh, by far Walmart, dude. By far.
Well, you're a Walmart guy? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much wear camo throughout the whole entire year, so, they don't really sell that at Target or anything like that.
Target's like just a different layout. Target, they have like more of a, what is it? What's the word for it?
I think Target's too damn bright, dude.
Too damn. There it is, man.
It's bright as hell in that damn place, man.
Walmart has everything, man, and even though they're not always low prices as they say, you know you're gonna find what you're looking for in Walmart. I don't care whether it's clothes or food or God, they have everything in there, man. Like all you want in one store. One thing I hate is that they sell edited CDs though. I never said they'll sell you an unrated movie, but they'll sell you an edited CD. That makes no
Well,
sense.
I guess that don't bother me because most of the music I listen to don't have to be edited to begin with.
Oh yeah. Like if you go buy like an Eminem record there,
I
you're
mean,
not
I
gonna
would never do no crap like that.
darn you, man. You should buy an Eminem record.
Crap.
Oh man, I guess we'll have you go now. Ask me something.
What'd you say?
I said I guess we'll have you ask me a question now.
Oh, I thought you said they were gonna have to, like cut it short or something. I was like, oh man, now I got it. Now you done put me on the spot, man.
Yeah, put you on the spot, man.
All right, here we go, brother. Let's get into some deep shit.
So let's
All
get
right,
some deeper stuff.
if you had one thing about your life that you could change, or basically rewind time and redo it, or even relive it, what would it be?
Probably dropping out of school when I was younger to like just to be a lazy bum at home, because that really set a lot of bad habits for me later on the road. Getting kind of personal here, but like you said, we're raw and uncut. I made a lot of stupid decisions when I was younger. If I didn't go to a place called Job Corps, I probably would never even graduated from school. Like I would quit jobs for the most stupidest reasons. Like it was bad. If I didn't go back to any time period of my life, I'd go back to maybe like my 10th year of high school, sophomore year of high school, I mean, and just not drop out. Stay through it and get a good job and stick with it. Because now that started a lot of bad bumps from then on, man. I think I'd be a lot better spot now if I didn't do that, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I gotta ask you something, dude.
All right, go ahead, man.
Why the hell every time we do these videos, I hear sirens in the background? What the hell are you doing, man?
Okay, I live
What the
by.
hell? I've noticed watching all the videos, there's sirens in the back. What the hell's going on over there, man?
I live by four of the biggest hospitals in Ohio. So all you hear all day long is sirens and all up and down these streets over here. Yeah, I've actually gotten used to it, but it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
Can you hear that? It's happening again right now, man.
oh God, man.
This is what happens when you live in the city. That's all you hear.
Yeah, man.
For some reason, that sound drives me nuts. I can't stand the sound of an ambulance. I don't know why, man. I hate it.
All right, your turn, brother.
All right, man. Well, same question for you. Is anything like one thing in your life that you can go back and change if you had the power to? What would that be?
All right, this is sort of going to be hypocritical because I'm going to say one thing and go, totally opposite the next time.
Okay.
I'm going to say spend too much time with women that I shouldn't have.
Well, that's one thing I'm thinking. Remember about you.
But yeah, good Lord, dude. But yeah, but I guess the positive on that, you got to go through a couple crappy relationships to realize when a good one comes.
Yeah.
So that would be the main thing in my life. That all the other things that I went through, I said made me 10 times stronger. Which at the same time, so did the bad relationships. So
I feel like we're like supposed to like it feels like a movie. Like we're supposed to go through all these shit to get to where we're at. All these plot developments and shit. I know you've been on a wild ride with women, huh, man?
yeah, man. Damn it.
You're amazed at all the crap you've been through with women. Like, is it like a wild ride to you?
I sort of got used to it, man. It's sort of like you don't want to take your shoes off in the house, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I quote. Yeah. But, you don't want to get too comfortable where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you telling somebody to hush?
Yeah, my dad, like, shh.
Oh, Lord. Hi.
Quiet here. There's silence. Let's take off a little bit. Yeah, man. All right, you asked me something, man. Hold on a second, man. I'm going to close my door real quick. All right, man. You go ahead, man.
I think I finished it.
You finished it? All right. Should I ask you something, or should you ask me something? Let's see.
All right. Think of something else, because I pulled that one out the hat, dude.
All right. Let me ask you this, man, because I know. What are your thoughts about like religion and shit like that? Like, what do you think about that, man?
Like, get in depth of what you're talking about here.
Like, let's say like heaven and hell, stuff like that. Do you believe in that kind of stuff, spiritual kind of stuff, or what?
Oh, of course I do. Like I said, one of the things I said earlier was about faith. And, I believe in all that stuff, dude. But I do, however, believe each person, whatever kind of religion you can find, if it helps you to be a better person, then who am I to say you've got the wrong religion?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hey.
Most people only have like a certain way of thinking. Like it has to be this way, this way. I think that spirituality can be like any way that helps you like deal with life. You know, like there's all kinds of different religions in the world. Like who's to say all of them are wrong? I say that there's room for all of them. I think a lot of people don't think that way. They think there's only one true one. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be possible, but I'm still saying, I mean, you can't convince a person that don't want to believe in something,
Yeah.
It's one of the worst, topics you can get on, really, with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. You want to go next, man? What do you want to do, man?
Huh?
You want to go next or what?
Oh, God, dude. Let me think. If you could travel anywhere in this world, dude, anywhere.
Anywhere?
Anywhere, where would it be?
Richmond, Virginia. No,
Hey.
no, well, honestly, I don't know why, but I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. I don't know why. Let's see if it's really as nice as it looks in pictures. Because it looks like just like a beautiful piece of heaven right there. It's like, man, Hawaii, man. Because it's something about those beaches out there, man. I'm a big beach guy, so I would love to go there to see if it's really as nice as it looks on video and camera. Then I also want to go to Italy, too. Something about Italy, too. I love the Italian culture, Italian food. I love that shit. What about you? Anywhere in the world, man. Where would you go?
I would say Finland, Germany, Louisiana. What just happened?
What happened, man? Keep going,
what are you doing,
man? Showing up my Jordan shirt, man. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Finland, Germany, Louisiana. I'm missing something.
And well, what's the Rock's hometown? Miami, Florida. There you go.
I've already lived in Florida. That's pretty much it that I can think off the top of my head.
All right, man. I guess I'll ask you another deep question before we wrap this up here.
All right.
What are your thoughts about life in general, man? About this crazy thing known as life. What do you think about it? Man, I'm getting deeper here, man. Yeah.
Oh, God, dude. I think in this day and age, man, it was like back in the day, you could leave your door, your window wide open without a screen. Nobody was going to crawl in your house. You could leave your door unlocked. You could leave keys in your damn car without having to worry about it. So I say life nowadays has pretty much went to hell, dude. I think like hell is Earth.
Yeah, you think so? It makes a lot of sense in a way. I've heard it before. I have a friend that always say the same thing, like hell is not really underground. It's right here, outside the building from here in the world. And I think that we kind of have it screwed up here, our philosophy here in, in humanity, that a lot of people don't have no compassion anymore, man. And I think it's the way that we're kind of like hammered at when we're young, like only care about ourselves and nobody else. Like, it's gonna always bug me. You see a homeless guy in the corner, 10 people will probably walk by that guy and not even think twice about it. And like I always feel bad. I always feel like I look at things differently than everybody else, man. I feel like our philosophy in life, depending on the person, is just like really flawed. I think that we could stop a lot of the bad things in this world if we had more love and compassion for each other, man.
Yeah, man.
What do you think, man?
That's it.
That's it, man. Anything more you want to share with these people?
That's all I can think of, dude.
So hopefully this gives you guys a chance to give us a little bit, So this is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So leave a comment if you guys want to ask even more personal questions. You can, and hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of the videos on this channel. Yeah, man.